Next time on Star Trek The Next Generation, Captain Picard's holiday becomes a romantic adventure.
This is Don LaFontaine.
Trouble.
A seductress lures him on a quest to find a weapon from the future.
Perhaps I should kill you and then take the disc.
But if it falls into enemy hands, it could spell disaster.
You will return what is ours.
On Star Trek The Next Generation.
It blew up, just in case you're wondering. I like him as good as Don LaFontaine. I'm gonna go back real quick. Was this his first one?
Next time on Star Trek.
Yeah, that's his first fucking one. They bring in Don LaFontaine.
They brought in Don LaFontaine, which, if you don't know, Beyond Belief intro guy,
Legend.
and for Captain's Holiday.
Well, I think it's gonna be him moving forward.
Oh, really?
I think he replaced the other guy, but that's his first one. Just like how we got these nice new headphones, and this was the first episode we used them on.
We use these brand new PlayStation branded Sony headphones, quality amazing.
Yeah.
And they were wasted on Captain's Holiday. I'm pretty sure you watched a reaction, and it's no secret how we felt about it. Even before I can come up with some clever, funny way to break into it, you just as soon as that opening title credit popped up, what did you say?
I think I said that was fucking painful, because it was, dude. I think it's been a while, but like sometimes there are some reactions. It could be Star Trek or something else, to where like it's just like painful because you're just not, okay. Hunt for Red October was the last one. Thankfully, this wasn't 2 hours 40 minutes or whatever. But like it's just painful, and it sucks because I really liked the first 10 or so minutes of this. Like, I thought it was genuinely funny. We were laughing a lot. I was interested in this Picard-centric episode of A Shore Leave. And then it just, like, falls apart and becomes just, like, almost irredeemable. I mean, everything about it is just, like, I don't really have much to say. I mean, we can dig into it, I guess. But, I mean, before we do it, let us, talk about anything that we do think, what was good or that we liked. I've talked about it being funny at the beginning and the character stuff at the beginning. Anything else?
a decent hook where I'm like, okay, I'm interested. Time traveling type thing. I thought that'd be a little more funner coming into play. Where at the end, where I thought it was going to be a much deeper, I don't know if convoluted is the right word, but basically a lot more deeper in plot and time travel than it was. I'm like, ooh, a time travel plot. And usually time travel in Star Trek is very good. Yesterday's Enterprise, where it's sort of a little bit of time travel. And I thought, oh, cool, this is going to be some crazy detective story type deal. But it was so surface level. Like very, maybe because the Ferengi was very much a season 1 Ferengi. But it was very season 1 Star Trek, nothing special. And like not like a flat line straight where it's, it's okay. No, this is like downward slope in terms of quality of where we've been in this season. It's like a major step back. Horrible direction, flat, one of the worst directed fight scenes ever. And not really a fight scene, just like a comical slapstick comedy punch from just like, I get it, Star Trek fight scenes haven't always been master classes, but there's been great examples of it. And this was not one of them. Just these horrible flat shots with like no great lighting or anything, no rack zooms, nothing that built any sort of tension or feeling. Everything, it was flat. The whole thing was flat.
Yeah, I mean, and it was boring.
Very boring.
And I didn't care at all.
And people say we love episodes where nothing happens. We love, Seinfeld episodes. This is an episode where something happened and nothing happened.
It was like stuff happened, but I didn't care.
Yeah. No stakes, no interest in this story. Patrick Stewart, God bless his soul, just tried his hardest to carry this lackluster story, but it's like he wasn't enough. He wasn't enough.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, if you stay at Risa, if it's just Picard getting into hijinks and miscommunications, and it's basically a sitcom episode, like it could have been passable. It wouldn't have been like, oh my god, this episode's the best. But it's like it could have been a fun, passable episode. As soon as they left that resort and went into their, I don't know what you would call it, Drake's Fortune, Indiana Jones, whatever they were going for, it just, was not good or entertaining. And we just talked about this, recently in the last episode. What does it come down to? Execution. And the execution here from Chip Chalmers, first time TNG director?
Chip Chalmers guy is a first assistant director, so he's been on the set plenty of times. So he sees, what goes into it, and then he's handed the ball and just
Yeah, I mean, I felt like, the script and knew the characters on the Enterprise and knows Picard, and even once they go down to the planet, like it's very Picard. Like I bought it, when he's having these miscommunications. He has a little tiki. Riker tricked him, and it all like it was all funny. It was fine. And then as soon as like he got back to his room and finally acknowledged the time travelers, and they just started spitting out exposition, and I was like, okay, okay, and then it just like kept just getting worse. We've done, I think, our best to explain the small things that we enjoyed. I did like the idea of that twist of, oh, the whole thing was a ruse by, what was his name, Vash? It was Vash. She, oh, the whole thing's a ruse. She wanted to lead the Ferengi there. She actually got it beforehand. Okay, like, yeah, that's neat. But, like, in this episode that I don't care about at all, it's like, that's all it ends up being. She's like, okay, that's kind of a neat twist. The whole thing about destroying it, like, Code 14 and the transporter, did they just think that he was saying to destroy himself? I'm sure they assumed that wasn't the case, but like, I don't know. Have we ever heard about that before? Maybe we did, and I'm not remembering. But like, it's just a random thing to throw in because it's convenient for this episode. I feel like.
it's interesting this going from so much excitement in the beginning to slowly watching the life in our eyes just die. And it's like,
Yeah.
and that moment where like, oh, it's over. That's it. It's like, oh, and there's realizations in this episode where, like the twists weren't like twists. It was just like answers to questions we were already asking. Like I love it when the show answers a question we haven't even thought of, or puts a new element
Yeah.
in this. This was just answering like, oh, I already got the idol when I first got here. And like in the episode, I'm like, why didn't he just go get it right away? It's like, oh, because she did. That's one of the things to be good.
Yeah, and I just think whatever episode 20 is, it has like, you know, it's like coming up and playing T-ball at this point. It can be, the next episode can be a D tier episode and I'll be impressed after this. I mean, when Picard punched the Ferengi and we like looked at each other, I can't think of when the last time that would have been in a Star Trek episode that like, we just were like, oh, like, okay. It's like, it's done. We could have just stopped it right there. Like, okay, we're good here.
I don't think we've ever had that.
Yeah, I guess we got to give it credit. I don't know, we haven't experienced this before, I guess. And it's a unique, it's not just, oh, it was fine and I have no thoughts. Like, at least I'll remember this. I'll remember this, all right.
I guess every season has to have its, oh, it's that one.
This is like when the bow breaks, like level. I mean, and even when the bow breaks, I was never like out. Like, I was never like, okay, I'm out. Like, I heard what it had to say. I didn't like it, but I was like, okay, not for me. This was like, once that punch happened and they left the resort, I just wanted it to end. Like, I felt like it was happening to me at that point. Okay, I think we can stop. I mean, is there anything else to say?
No, there isn't.
Alex and Josh, feel the target audience on a cosmic journey, feeling so immense. They're sitting in a room, ready for the show. Star Trek Next Generation, Season 3, let's go! The first time they've seen this sci-fi sight, only going where no man's gone, day and night. Hip-hop beats fill the atmosphere. Their minds are racing, filled with wonder and cheer. Cosmic journey.
Hey guys, I thought about this right after we stopped recording, so I have to say it. This is what we mean when we say we hate an episode. Deja Q is a fucking masterpiece compared to this, okay? So when we're like making little complaints about Deja Q or about how we would have done the ending differently in yesterday's Enterprise, like that's not something to get mad over. Like this is something to get mad over. If you disagree with us, then please be mad at us because I understand. But just remember this next time we're like somewhat complaining about a pretty good episode. It's not this. This is what happens when we don't like an episode. Do you have anything to say?
No, I agree with that. Can I go home now?
No, I still got you for another hour.